Hello, everyone, and welcome to the newest episode of Adam's TV Podcast. We're talking about the newest episodes of American Idol. I'm your host for tonight, and just about every night. I'm Adam Samuel, and I'm joined tonight by my amazing co-host, Eric. How you doing, Eric?
Doing well, everybody. I thought it was a solid week of Idol overall, but I'm excited to jump into it. So
we were talking a little bit in the pre-show, and there's going to be a lot of back and forth here. I feel there's a lot to go through. I just want to put that out there.
Rants coming out. So
yeah. So anyway, here's how we're going to be structuring the show. So we had two nights of performances. We are going to be following a system where we will be talking in the order of the first solo performances. We're going to go through the contestants. We're going to talk about their solo, duet, and their results in that order. So we're not going to go back and forth. We're just if we're talking about Catie Turner, if we're talking about Dominique, we're going to be talking about all of their performances in one sitting. It's to avoid a bit of us repeating ourselves. So that's the plan. Before we get into it, I just have some opening questions that we're just going to go back and forth with. There was a lot. I just want to ask, Eric, what do you think of these shows?
I thought they were good. I think overall, the contestants were great overall. I think I skipped a lot of the judging and the introductions. I heard that Bobby Bones was Randy Jackson 2.0 of all the cliches and things. So I heard that I didn't miss much, thankfully, when I fast forwarded through his part. I thought the standing ovations, when I saw them, were beyond excessive. I mean, I thought J-Lo, Steven, and Randy were bad at giving out standing ovations, and nope, these guys have them beat. So I think one standing O a night should be the limit.
Yeah, I feel we're gonna be talking a lot about the standing ovations tonight, but I just for those who follow me on Twitter, I was keeping track, and there were more contestants that got standing ovations that didn't, and it was a huge percentage, like 75%.
Yeah.
But we'll be talking about this a little bit more. When you mentioned our mentor for this week of performance, it was Bobby Bones, and I just want to say that he was basically useless. He was a filler mentor. I don't feel like he did anything that was that. I feel like his appearance didn't really impact them. I feel like it was more just, like I said, it was a filler. He was a filler person. He came in, he talked with the contestants just so they have an intro package, because for some of these contestants, there's only so many times you could stress that Catie Turner's weird. Although they did manage to do that still in these performances. So I wanted to ask Eric, what do you think about these song choices?
I think it's better to talk about them individually, because some of them were good, some of them were bad, some of them were ugly.
Ugly.
We'll get to Catie Turner in a few. I put her under the ugly, but yeah.
Okay, so we're just going to get right down into it. We're going to start going from contestant to contestant, and starting off the night, we have Dominique. We're just going to talk about his solo performance first. He does "Ain't Nobody" by Chaka Khan, and I have a lot of thoughts about this contestant, but I want to throw it over to you first, Eric. What did you think?
He's likable. I thought the performance was competent karaoke, and it never went beyond that. And I think that was because of the song choice. I think the song choice was didn't give him the opportunity to have a moment. And I didn't know how the judges stood, and then I realized, oh, they're standing for everybody, so that wasn't a thing. And so yeah.
I have a lot of questions about this song choice, because I can't understand a contestant on the show willingly picking a song such as this to compete with. This is not "Ain't Nobody." It's not a song to compete with. Like, it's a song you might hear at a bar, but it doesn't give you a lot of space to grow. It's just an awkward song choice that you're just always going to come across as karaoke, and which just adds to my surprise, because I was watching this and I was thinking, this is a fodder job. This is someone who's probably been forced into this song. And as I was thinking that and writing it down, I noticed that the judges are giving him a standing ovation, which absolutely, I was like,
what? Yeah.
Because it didn't make sense with the narrative of what was kind of being suggested. Because I'm just gonna put this out there. He's a good singer. I'm not
Yes.
saying anything against him.
Competent singer.
I just feel like this is not a song that shows off your potential in a singing competition. Like, which is something that I've noticed with a lot of these contestants. They were all shoehorned or picked of their own accord. We'll never be able to know. But why would anyone want to do something like this? It's not going to aid. Like, a lot of these performances were more opening the show performances. They weren't songs to have a moment, with some exceptions. There was a lot of up-tempo. There was very few ballads that I could think of. It was a lot of getting the show started, which I guess in my mind is they want to show growth. And if everyone comes out doing ballads, it doesn't give a lot of growth. They kind of want the contestants to start off a little bit wobbly. Do you kind of agree with those sentiments?
To an extent, I think it's more like if they don't care about you, they're not going to put effort into picking a good song for you, which is sad and stupid and makes for a worse show, but it shows what our priorities are. So,
I mean, the thing was that the judges were standing for him. And I just was thinking, because they stood a lot during these performances, and I just kept thinking, what if Candace Glover was there and performed? Like, would they shoot off their seats to like hit the ceiling? Like, it was like a where it just everyone was kind of
Mariah would go up and throw the glitter. That's what would happen.
Any final thoughts on his solo performance?
Nope, I'm good.
Do you think, I'm going to throw this out there, do you think he deserved to advance based on what you saw from him?
No.
No? And yet, which is weird, because for his second performance, which was with Aloe Black, celebrity duet, he performs Wake Me Up, and he gets another standing ovation. But it wasn't just a standing ovation. They were standing up mid-performance, which is... I just feel like we've negated the entire meaning of a standing ovation in the show. But
we have.
Anyway.
We totally have. We can say that we've made standing ovations meaningless, but let's move on.
Yeah. So for his performance, I wrote that Aloe was completely outshining. I felt like Dominique was this was a very lopsided pair, because Aloe's got a pretty good voice, and Dominique also has a really good voice, but it wasn't syncing, I feel, in my mind. What do you think?
I kind of skipped the duets for people who, but
well, that means you'll just hear more from me on the duets.
Yay! I mean,
always good.
I watch the duets that, for people who, made it. But.
Okay. What do you think about, I want to throw this out there. What did you think about the fact that we're doing celebrity duets? In the past, we usually did them.
Was, with former contestants, and that was a lot better. I preferred the former contestants coming back.
I honestly would prefer no duets. I would just have their solo performance, and that's it. Like, save that episode for something else. In my opinion,
I would do two things. First of all, I would wait till like top 3 week to have the former contestants come back and do duets. But I would also have it be former contestants and not have random celebrities. I think the former contestant thing was a great way to bring back people who have been on the show that everyone got invested in past seasons, give them another chance to shine on the idol stage. I loved that about season 15, actually. So I'm sad they screwed up that a little bit this season, but
I feel like the sole purpose of that was because it was the final season that we had that. And I feel like the fact that we're doing it again is just because they're trying to stick to the format, which doesn't make sense because it was purposely done for the final season.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
I don't mind the format, but I mind it being random celebrities. I prefer it being actual like former contestants.
I agree. Anyway, so we get to the results for Dominique, and he is cut. He's one of the contestants not selected to go on to the top 14, and he got 2 standing ovations. But again, it's irrelevant.
It's irrelevant because a lot of people got cut who got standing ovations. So,
yep.
Moving on.
I mean, I kind of feel bad for him because his whole intro package was that he was planning to quit his job, or did. I didn't really understand that, but
he was gonna. But look, luckily for him, he didn't. So he has a backup plan in place. Good for him.
I would never do that on a show, to broadcast that you're planning on quitting your job. That's
horrible move. But
anyway, we get our next performance. It's Layla Springs, one of the younger contestants this season. She's
Is
doing
she the youngest, or is she one of
no,
the?
Mara is the
Oh,
youngest.
right, Mara.
Layla's like 17. Layla does A Broken Wing by Martina McBride. And in her intro package, she gets Lauren Elena gets called in by Bobby Bones, and she gives some of the most like generic advice ever. It was like just you
But
can
it's
imagine what it
Lauren.
was.
Let Lauren have her moment. Lawrence
I'm
made
gonna
it.
be nice to Lauren. They
I am
probably
too.
edited it down. So anyway, she gets a standing ovation. What do you think of the performance?
I liked it. It wasn't perfect. I actually think it might have been her best performance so far.
I'm going to disagree with you on that about this being her best performance so far. I think that was actually her duet, which we'll touch on like a second.
I didn't watch the duet, so.
Oh well, her voice is we're going to talk about this other contestant a little bit later, but I feel like in the producer's mind, if you're approaching this from a producer, you have two country singers.
Gabby.
You have Layla and Gabby, and I feel like Gabby won this battle is
Totally.
kind of what I'm feeling. So what?
Exactly my point.
Yeah. I mean, but good for her. Layla, she did pretty, she's nothing to like be ashamed about. I feel like she did
if there wasn't another country singer, she would have probably made it through. So.
Oh, totally. I feel like she's like a little Lauren Elena, except not at the point Laura Elena was at, but that's irrelevant. Mm-hmm. We move on to her duet with Sugarland, and I'll take the reins on this one. She does Stuck Like Glue, and I actually really like this one. This was actually one of the first performances of Layla's that I was like really into it, but I'm not sure if that was more because Jennifer Nettles was there. There's a little bit of a disconnect because you're not sure if you're liking the duet for the contestant or because there's a celebrity with them, and that's why I feel like we shouldn't have this round. I mean, I feel like it's a little bit American Idol trying to showcase how they can get these big names still to come. But that's
we're not dead yet. We can get celebrities on our board. Yeah.
But I mean, I like this performance. I feel like if there was one more spot to give to these contestants, I honestly probably would have considered giving it to Layla. Do you agree with that sentiment?
Probably, actually, after this week, yeah, I'd say yes.
Yep. But anyway, she is nothing to be ashamed of. She did a pretty good job these 2 rounds.
Yep.
But unfortunately, as we hinted a second ago, she is cut, which is pretty big shame. I feel like it would have been more of a service to her to cut her in top 24, like into the top 24. Yeah. So that way she could come back, because at this point she's probably not going to be, I don't know about the rules, but we're probably never going to be seeing her again on the Idol stage, which is, I know. Yeah. But anyway, we move on to our next contestant, Catie Turner, performing Call Me by Blondie. And Eric, there's a lot to talk about with this performance. What did you think?
I'll let you start.
I think it's best if you start.
Okay, fine. I'll go first. I'll get my quick comments out of the way, and I'll let you have the floor. Okay. First of all, I still love Catie's personality. I think she's hilarious. The gushing over hairstyles part. Her intro is the one I watched because I always enjoy watching her because she's so funny to me. The song choice was a complete mess. It was a mistake at best, and at worst, it was a train wreck. I mean, what she needs to do is do either more original songs or cover songs that would showcase the way that she would do things in the future, like as an artist. Showcase the fact that she can actually take risks and change things up. Because right now she's destined for a top 8 finish at best.
All right. I just want to start by putting this out there that I am a Catie fan. Like, we're going to be doing a draft in the coming week, next week, and she's someone I honestly have my eye on. But I mean, I was watching this performance, and there's just one question that I kept thinking in my head, and it's why? Like, this is a girl that has so much potential. I don't know if she could win, but I see a path for her to like making a lasting impression on the Idol stage. I could see her best case scenario, in my opinion, is top 3. And I highly doubt at this point that she's going to get there. I feel like after this performance,
it kind of cut out for a bit. Just to clarify. So you think she can get top 3, right?
I think top 3 is her best case scenario for this idol run. And the thing is I'm trying to like think what her thought process is. And she's thinking, okay, this is idol. I want to go big. And in my opinion, that's the exact opposite of what she should be doing. She doesn't need to go big. She needs to go small, because there are better singers than her in this competition. And her biggest draw,
everyone's a better singer than her.
I mean, her biggest draw is her personality. And as the season goes on, as I've seen already, people are saying it's starting to wear thin. And when you strip away her personality and you cut back on the intro packages, her singing isn't the best, but she does have potential. I mean, why would you pick this song? Like, Call Me by Blondie? What are you going to do with that? Are you going to have a performance where people are going to be standing up? Well, I guess people did stand up for her, but
But that doesn't mean anything at this point, as we discussed. So you need people to do more than just stand up for you. You need them to vote for you and to want to actually buy your music. And no one's gonna buy a Blondie cover like this.
The thing that I was thinking is that she's just not playing to win, in my opinion. This is not a winning run that she's showing. And I feel like she could, with the right songs and the right backing, there's certain things that she could pull on, that she could do. And I feel like this is a bad showing of if this is how she's planning her run, I feel like this is a bad sign. Other notes, I feel like she's painting herself as someone who can very easily be bust, because I could imagine, if I'm a producer and I don't want Catie Turner to move on anymore, and I've seen her run and I've done with her as a producer for the show, I could easily say next week's performance in her intro package, let's say she's picked an up-tempo fun song and I want to send her home. I'm a producer, so I'm going to have her intro package be about everyone talking about how she's not taking the competition seriously. And now she's going to be she's put herself into a box where she can so easily be screwed over by producers. And I feel like she's doing it a little bit on herself, honestly. I feel like she could get swallowed really easily. She's just trying to play to have fun, and she doesn't need that. She could be a contender. And I want her to bring back the guitar, honestly.
That's what I was thinking too. Something more like a singer-songwriter type thing. That's what she needs to be. That's her lane.
I see her with give her a Case of You. Do you know that song?
No.
Joni Mitchell. Well, it's like a slower song with just her with guitar. That's all she needs. She's trying to do these rocker songs, and I feel like I'm ranting a little bit. Am I ranting too much?
You're okay. Let's go to the duet, which I could sum up by saying another poor song choice.
What do you think of her outfit?
I didn't pay attention to her outfit.
She was wearing this I just feel like they could very easily paint her as someone who's not taking this competition seriously, which I don't want, because I am such a fan of hers, and I do see such a path for her to make it further. But moving on from that, we get her duet. It's with Andy Grammer. By the way, has there been any new Andy Grammer music? I feel like his 15 minutes are starting to.
Didn't they do Good to Be Alive together? Which one did they do together?
Good to Be Alive by Andy Grammer, which came out 3 years ago.
That long ago?
Yeah, I remember in college listening to it. And
okay, I don't know. Yeah, he hasn't had too much lately, but he's clearly working on stuff. I mean, I saw he was doing a gig in DC late last year. This was
a fun performance. I was actually watching with my mother this performance, and she kept saying, "What's going on with the stage?" The stage was really small and didn't really match with the top 24. When we get to the live rounds, it's usually this big stage. What did you think about the stage? And it was kind of more small and cozy.
It was a small stage. The ceiling was kind of low, but yeah.
That was one thing I wrote. I wrote, maybe there's so many standing ovations because they can't see the contestants. Which, the fact that you're laughing kind of says enough about it. But
that's great.
Going to this performance, I thought it was pretty good. It wasn't the best showing, but I feel like you shouldn't be taking that seriously for these kind of performances.
Yeah, I kind of agree.
Yeah. So, any final thoughts? Oh, yeah. She does eventually get through, which no surprise there. I'm completely
Assuming she does the right thing, I'm on board with her going through.
Yep. So moving on, we got our next contestant. It's Dennis Lorenzo doing "Rude" by Magic. What'd you think?
The solo was never a great vocal, but for some reason I wasn't really invested in it. And like, here's my feeling about Dennis. You know who he reminds me of? He reminds me a lot of Rayvon. Whereas Rayvon, I wasn't invested in Rayvon when he was on Idol, but after, he released a couple songs that I've really enjoyed. And like, so I think it was a song choice that was holding me back from falling for Rayvon. That and our other contestant that year that I really liked. But Dennis, I feel like he needs to pick better songs for himself. More songs that can give him, that'll be more memorable. Rude's sort of like another like karaoke type song, and it wasn't good for him.
I want to cut in with some breaking news, which is pretty exciting. Someone just alerted me to some news on Twitter. Drum roll? No drum roll. It's about American Idol. There will be a 17th season of American Idol.
It got renewed?
It got renewed. So, breaking news. And also, it's going to be a bit longer next season.
Where's the news about that? I don't see it.
I'll send it to you in a second.
Okay, because that's awesome news if it's true.
Going back to this performance, while you search, I'll just talk a little bit. Dennis Lorenzo, he does the song, and in his intro package, he says, "I want people to be dancing along with what I'm with this performance." And I just was thinking, to Rude, people are going to dance to Rude. It's like not a song that people really dance to. But I mean, it was a good performance. It was very cool. The one thing that really stood out was he was the first contestant of the night that doesn't get a standing ovation, which absolutely surprised me. And I thought that was a little bit telling for his fate if I didn't know the spoilers. But it was a good performance. Not the best. I don't understand why he would honestly choose this song. It's not the kind of song that's going to stand you away from the crowd, but good for him for going for it. It was fun. I enjoyed it. Anyway, so that brings us to the duet, which he does with Alan Stone. He performs "Unaware." What do you think, Eric? You listen?
I thought it was good. I thought the duet was actually probably his best performance of the competition so far. I really enjoyed the duet, actually.
Yep. This was the only performance that Alan Stone was kind of a part of, but I feel like it was kind of good. Dennis is kind of a contestant, though, that I feel like right now he's battling for the middle of the pack. I don't see him breaking into the top 5. I see him solidly being a top 8 boot. And if let's say this is The Voice and he's on my team, I would suggest not trying to do performances that are going to get people to dance. I would do more serious performances. I feel like you're going to on Idol. You're going. What's the saying? It's like you catch more bees with honey. Like the honey in American Idol is slow songs and more serious songs. I feel like if you're going to do a slower song, you're more likely to have more success. Do you kind of agree with that?
Yeah, I feel like. Wait, I was kind of distracted by the fact that I got
This is kind of big news, but Dennis just doing his Unaware performance, and that I feel like right now he's kind of competing for 8th place at best.
Honestly, I thought that performance, honestly, I was kind of like distracted, but I really do think that duet was probably the clear standout duet of the night, and it actually kind of reminded me why I liked him in the first place from his first audition. And I think that the vocals in that duet got crazy good towards the end. So I think that more performances like that, he actually could go further than 8th place.
Do you think he could win?
No.
Why don't you think he could win? If you were in charge of helping him win, what path do you see for him to victory? Like if you could sit down with him for like a 10-minute conversation, how do you plan out his run to try and win?
Honestly, the thing I could think of is probably pretty racist to say. I think he needs to pick up a guitar and become white.
I don't know if we want to open that discussion, but I feel like on these shows, there is, well, I mean, it's pretty obvious with so many winners. There's a bit of a bias, but let's kind of move on. I let's just go on. We get our next contestant.
Yeah, I'm gonna pretend that I mean, honestly, Dennis vocally, he's great, and I would like to see him go really far because he's good, but I don't think he's gonna win. I just don't. I don't know why I don't think he's gonna win.
It's the unfair bias, honestly,
it's unfair that that's the case. Like,
it's completely unfair.
There's so many contestants in the past that lost to white guys with guitars that shouldn't have. But
and girls, I mean, Jessica Sanchez. I mean,
I said contestants in the past. I didn't say.
Oh. Anyway, so we move on to Michelle Sussett. Like with Catie Turner, I have a lot I want to talk about with her. So she does "If I Were a Boy" by Beyonce, and she does it in a Spanglish rendition. She kind of breaks it down into she has breakdown in Spanish. And what do you think about this performance?
The first 10 seconds were great. The rest of it, when she picked up the tempo, I'm like, what's she doing? It makes no sense. It got very wobbly. The Spanish part was good. She's a performer, but she still needs to prove that she's versatile. And the problem was the solo one was okay. You could say take it or leave it, but the duet where it was a ballad. I'm going to combine my thoughts in the two because I feel like they go together. The duet was a ballad. Finally, we finally got a ballad from Michelle, and I was not impressed by it. She was outsung in the duet as well, I think, and the voice wasn't as strong as I thought it could be. I think now that she's a goner within the first 2 weeks of live shows.
I have not been a huge Michelle fan this entire season.
I'm aware of this fact.
And I don't want to pile on her because I think she seems like an incredible person. She seems very nice. She's very beautiful.
All of them do, which is great.
I mean,
there aren't any mean contestants this year.
Yeah, she seems like just a really cool person. But watching her progression through the show, I was waiting for that one moment where I'm going to be like, this is because we know the spoilers and we know that she's advanced to the top 14. And I was waiting for that performance.
By the way.
What?
Yeah.
What?
She advanced. Yeah.
Oh yeah. She does advance. But I was waiting for that performance to justify it. And as soon as I saw like the song list, I was like, this has to be it. Because I didn't understand her and she's going to come out with this performance and it's going to be incredible. It's a straight ballad. It's what I've been asking for this entire season from her. And I want to say the first 10 seconds, I was sold. I was like, yes, this makes sense. I could totally understand what she's going with it. And then she made this really, I don't want to say absurd, but it didn't make sense. She took the song up tempo, and I've heard so many renditions of this song. I don't think I've ever heard someone ever try and make it a dancing song. And she did that. And I just, like I said with Catie, and my question is why? Why would you do this? Why would you be so afraid to just...
To be fair, you also told me in the pre-show that you've gone back and watched it several times.
I was going to go... We're going to go back to that because I don't understand this rendition, but I have gone back. All right, I'm going to put this out there. This has been the performance that I've watched the most of all these contestants because there was sprinklings of genius in it, is what I want to say. Like, her voice is really good. She has a talent, but it's just she's making these wrong choices for her run. And I feel like if she's on my team for The Voice, like I see a whole, like, I want to know, does she play an instrument? Like, not everything needs to be a dancing song. She has so much potential, I feel. Even now, I feel like there is some potential for her to turn this around. And I just don't understand why she decided to make it into a dancing song is what I'm trying to say. She refuses to do a full ballad, right?
Until the duet round, but yeah.
And which baffled me the most because she also got a standing ovation, but
of course she did.
Most contestants did. For her,
who didn't get a standing ovation.
Any final thoughts on her solo performance?
Nope, I'm good. I think that I still see a ton of potential with her, but she has to do something amazing in the top 14 round, or else she's a goner.
If she's on your team for The Voice, What's your path to victory for her? What do you do for her? What advice do you have that will get her to the end?
I don't know about to the end, but she needs to do
To
do at least 50% of a song a cappella.
Ooh, it's a pretty good idea. I mean,
she needs to start a song a cappella and keep it when the band come in, but keep it slow the whole way through and prove that she can sing, which we know she can.
I totally agree with you. I'm on that note. Acapella is a really good decision for her. I think
she can do it. So if she does, I think she has a shot. But
aside for Bo Bice, has there ever been a contestant who's done that on the
Candace Glover started off I Who Had Nothing on the finale acapella. And that's what she was gonna win regardless, but that was what sealed the deal for her. So
I mean, let's just move on to her duet, which was "I Can Make You Love Me," which was a full ballad, and she does it with Lou Fonsi, and I liked it. It kind of justified her advancement because, like we said, she does advance, but it wasn't that special. I mean, right now, like you said, I think she's competing with a few other contestants to survive the first 2 weeks.
Yep.
Any final thoughts on her? And
seriously, if you're listening, which you're not, but start off a cappella and see what it can do for you, because I think it might actually work, but who knows?
I still have I see a path for her. Like even someone like that is in such a bad spot. I feel like there is potential for her if she makes the right decisions. I mean,
go far. If she has the potential to go far. She hasn't lived up to her full potential yet, but I hope she does.
Yeah, I agree. So, moving on, we have our next contestant, who I'm gonna say was my personal favorite of this night. Michael J. Woodard. He sings. It was a Beatles song. I think it was. I don't remember which one. I wrote he's Michael J. Woodard. Honestly, is the surprise of the season. He was the surprise of the season.
W.
What?
It's Woodard. There's no second W.
What'd I say?
You said Woodward.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I made that mistake several times. I made it in my notes, honestly. I have to fix those. Yeah. Know who he reminds me of? Let's see if you get this comparison. Burnell Taylor.
No. I think he's better. I think he's better.
Oh, I think he's better also. But the same style as Burnell. Oh, I wrote, he reminds me a lot of Burnell Taylor from season 12, but better. And I think it's because of the hand movements and stuff in this performance, actually, that hit me over the head with it. I think it was the way he was moving his hands throughout performance and the style of singing in general. Michael is definitely better than Burnell. That's true. But the comparison I thought was interesting. I liked the performance a lot. I think he's not perfect, but the song choices always surprise me. And for that alone, I think I want someone like him to go far.
Something that stood out to me was, I know you didn't watch the judges' critiques, but they keep talking to him about nerves. And the thing is I don't understand that.
What nerves?
They're saying oh, you have issues with nerves. And I was like, I haven't seen that. Which is just something I'm pointing out because I feel like that's a narrative they might be
pushing for
maybe a little later in the round. If he starts doing a little too good for himself and they don't want him to end up winning, they could bring those out, force him into a Believer by Imagine Dragons.
Oh, don't go there.
No, but you see what I'm saying? This is something that could totally happen. They could.
Oh, yeah. They have ways that can bust him. But I do think that I really like him, and I think that just the fact that he's so unique and that he picks songs that we wouldn't expect him to pick. And what nerves? What are we talking about? He was a child star. He was on a show when he was younger.
He won Majors and Minors.
Yes, he did. So no nerves. That's a BS critique. But yeah. What'd you think?
Honestly, I don't want to give away too much for our draft, but he's someone I have my eye on. I don't see him winning, but I see him going deep, and I see
he's your second pick. I'll just put it that way.
let's not talk about that.
I know it is. Well, it depends on if we have a coin flip works, because I'm not letting you get first pick.
I know who's going first, but that's it's going to be between Marinade and Cade, but we're not going to go there. Let's move on to his duet with Pat Moynihan. Moynihan, I think is how you pronounce his name.
I don't know. It's guy from Train.
Yeah, who I actually had no idea. I was like, "Who is this guy?" And then he said Train. I was like, "Oh, I love Train." Okay, I get this. You don't like Train? I love Train.
I think some of their lyrics are absolutely horrendous, but continue.
What? No.
You have a good voice, but I can't stand the songs. Okay.
All right.
Personal opinion.
Okay. What do you think of his duet? Did you watch his duet?
It was good. Not stellar, but good.
I mean, it's
not his type of song. It wasn't.
Yeah.
For the song that was given to him, he made the most of it.
This is why I feel like we shouldn't have these being part of the presentation for the judges. Oh, just not my computer. I feel like this shouldn't be in the presentation for the judges because it's just a duet is a duet, and you're not. I don't know. I don't know where I'm getting at with that, but it was good. I don't really have many further thoughts on it, but and lucky for Michael, he's moving on. He's in our top 14, and
I think he's going to go pretty far.
I don't see him winning. I see him possibly in the top 5, and with every performance, I'm becoming more and more sold on him because I see his potential, and he's so willing to go outside the box.
Yes, and we need someone like that.
Yep, he's good. Unless they keep pushing this nerves narrative, which does concern me a little bit.
They might push it as like a good thing. Like, oh, you're overcoming your nerves that don't exist. Okay.
Anyway, we move on to Trevor McBane, who does Way Down We Go by Kaleo. He's one of the rare contestants who doesn't get a standing ovation. What do you think?
Competent karaoke.
Pretty much. I mean, he's a good singer. He has a talent. This is a fodder contestant, honestly.
Totally.
This is it's unfortunate, but we'll talk about this more when we get to his duet, but this was a contestant that was he wasn't showcased the most. I mean, I don't really have many other thoughts on this performance. I mean, it was okay. Competent karaoke kind of sums it up. But he does have his duet with just have a look. It's okay. We're going to probably talk a bit more about his duet. Did you watch his duet?
I did not.
All right. Well, then I'll talk a bit more about it. He does it with Bishop Briggs, who is an artist who kind of came out of nowhere. She came up with the song River, which I heard from The Voice, and I loved it. And it's just
she has a great voice, but
it's a really good song, and it's something that I could just like. It's a song I used to walk, but I think that I really like her. She is not a good duet partner, honestly. She has so much energy. She's like jumping up and down on the stage, and Trevor's just kind of standing there. Like she's like getting really into it, and he's just like, which I don't know if is a testament to Trevor, and he should have like adapted and like been more into it, but she was like, she grabbed the spotlight and she's like, it's on me. Like if she was a contestant, I would vote for her, because she's just she has like a look. She's really good. I wrote my notes is she killed it. He didn't.
Yep. That would make sense based on what I saw from the solo at least. And based on what I saw from her other duet, which we'll get to later.
I'm still thinking about that idea that the judges were just standing up because they couldn't see the stage. I'm like starting to think that more.
You really, that's an actual theory now. Okay. So that's a theory. Okay.
Anyway, so on to the results. It's not good news for Trevor. He is one of the contestants cut, which is understandable. I would have cut him. But he's a nice guy. He has a moving story, and I would wish him the best.
Here's the thing. I like him better than some of the other people who make the top 14.
Yeah.
But yeah, I understand why it's cut.
Next up, we have a contestant who I don't have as much to say about, but I feel you have a lot to say about.
I do.
So I'm going to just say it's Jonny Brenns. He's doing Georgia by Vance Joy. What do you think?
Here's my thing. I want to quote Britney Spears from X Factor USA, talking to Jason. No, who was she talking to? I feel like Jason Brock. Yeah, it was a contestant. And the quote was, "Sorry, I just don't get it." And I'm gonna make that a poster because I'm gonna hold that up occasionally next week. But honestly, Brittany was a horrible judge, but that was my favorite quote ever.
She did this stare, which is still a meme I see nowadays.
Yeah, all the memes from her judging X Factor or the whole reason she was there, and they're wonderful. But I didn't get why he was here until halfway through the performance.
When he touched the girl's hand.
When he touched the girl's hands. I'm like, yeah, that's it. He's there to be a cute guy. Not to be a great singer, not to be a potential winner, I hope. But he was there literally to be a heartthrob. That's it. And as a heartthrob, he's competent, sure, but I don't get what people see in him.
I mean, contrary to what you were saying, he's actually trending on YouTube with like the most views of all the contestants, I think.
Oh yeah. I'm not saying that it's, again, personal opinion, but sorry, I just don't get it.
I get what you're saying, but I'm my notes I just have, he is our heartthrob. He is our Sam Wolf. He is
Sam Wolf finished fifth. I'd be fine with fifth. Any further than that I wouldn't be happy with. But
there's another contestant who we're going to be talking about next week a bit more. Garrett Jacobs. I feel like there's going to be a lot of comparisons akin to the Philip Phillips and Colton Dixon.
Yeah.
They are going to be competing for the heartthrob they're going to be competing for the heartthrob role that isn't already completely swallowed by Cade because he's probably going to be running away with it. For his performance, first of all, I want to say he has a ridiculously strong social media game. He is like totally engaged with fans. I see him tweeting like all the time,
Kudos.
Which is a huge boost to him because if he doesn't win, he's setting himself up well. And I like that self-awareness in the contestants. His performance, I don't think it was that great, but it was still good.
I decent falsetto. I mean, I'll give him that, but I'm not blown away. I don't see number one on trending, but
I wrote he had an intro package. I think it was I'm not sure, but it was. Don't quote me on this. I think we had an intro package about a sick family member, or he mentioned a sick family member, which is just what I keep thinking is this guy's. I feel like he's a fan of the show and he knows how to play it because he's like checking off all the right boxes.
Even I'm not that cynical.
I mean, cynical.
Oh yeah, he brought up a family member because he's a fan of the show. That's pretty damn cynical, but.
I don't know about that, but regardless, I think he's not a contender, but he is a front runner.
Hesitantly, I agree.
I see him top 5 and being cut top 5, honestly. I'd
be fine with that.
The Sam Wolf role is kind of where I see this journey ending. Something that I just noticed randomly. Do you remember Alex Preston from?
Yes.
He reminds me of him. He looks like him a little bit.
I think Alex was better.
No, he looks like him, is what I'm saying. Like they have like a similar like face. And I just kept
Jonny was a little bit more expressive, I think, right?
I don't know. I really like Alex Preston.
I like Alex Preston a lot, but he had like a blank expression on his face every time he sang on Idol. So is Jonny
doing like the stank face or whatever people would call it nowadays. Okay. He has this duet. Just going through my notes trying to find who it was with. Did you watch this duet?
I did not. I mean, I did a little bit, but I basically just wrote. I wasn't blown away by it.
No pressure for me. I just gotta find it. He does it with Andy Grammer. He does Back Home, which is probably my least favorite Andy Grammer song, and I like Andy Grammer, but he's the heartthrob. I get what his role is. He's no Nick Fraudiani, but I wrote his singing just needs to be passable for him to be good. Like he has so much momentum going behind him. He just needs to be competent to like advance.
Yeah, I in reality, that's how it is. I wish it wasn't like that. I wish it was based on talent because I think like Dennis, Michael, Katie, even Michelle are all more talented than him. But
I just feel like the producers want him to move on. That he's a role that they want him to fill.
Oh yeah.
All right. any final thoughts? Because before we just say he does move on and he is in our top 7. Do you agree on that? Would you send him through?
Top 14, but yeah.
Well, this week's top 7.
Yes.
You would send him through.
Do I agree? Based on the 12 performances we saw tonight, I'd probably still put him through, but he's the one that's on the edge for me. Personally.
Okay. Next up is a contestant who I think I don't want to sound. I don't think we've ever seen before this performance. It's KK Alexis.
We've seen clips of her.
Very rarely. She is probably the most undershown contestant in the top 24. She's doing "Love on the Brain" by Rihanna, and I wrote down this song choice is a gift for someone to be handed "Love on the Brain." Like this is a moment song. Like you didn't watch The Voice, but Chris Blue did it. Like this is a song that to be able to perform this song, it's got moment written all over it. And
Mara just seen the audition with it and did a great job.
Yep, I don't think this was the best performance. I mean, I thought it was honestly pretty good though. It wasn't the best, but there was.
Here's my thing: some of her choices she made with it I liked. Others, I think I wrote down like the must be where she repeated those words before the chorus. I hated that.
Oh, I liked it. It was kind of cool.
Some of the choices she made really irritated me. Some of them I liked, but yeah. Again, personal preference, personal taste, but
she might as well just have like a fodder, like
she might have had a
blinking light behind her,
behind him.
Like
she might have been wearing a "Kick Me Out" sticker.
It's just, I don't know. I just wrote good, not incredible. But she got a lot of TV time, so good for her.
Yep.
We get our duet with her and Pat Moynihan, who's doing Train, who was in Train. I just wrote that down. She was shown a lot with messing up in rehearsals, which is never a good sign. And she wrote that she says she's used to singing a cappella, which is another bad sign. This was just this was a run that you could kind of guess where this was going.
Yeah.
Right.
Bye, KK.
I wrote down it's a good old-fashioned busing. Because also, why was she paired with him? Like, this is such a
because they didn't have anyone else to pair him with.
Yeah. Which is just, I feel bad for her because she does have potential, but
yeah.
Like I said, good old-fashioned busing.
Yeah.
I'm a little harsh. Tell me if I'm being a little too harsh, but no,
she was good. I mean, again, parts that I liked, parts that I didn't. But yeah, the producer, she was never shown before this, and she didn't have a true moment that would get them to actually, put her through anyway. So,
all right. Next, we move on to Brandon Diaz. He's doing "Hello" by Lionel Richie. I don't know why I said it like that. But this is another contestant that was mostly invisible. We kind of saw his audition. We saw a little bit in the Green Mile, but otherwise he was kind of just not shown that much. He is a X Factor veteran, so that's
he's
always
also local. He's also lives close to DC, so he's a local. But yeah, I don't know. We were discussing before the show. You think that he might have been given "Hello" to sing?
I was planning my J-Lo way of saying that.
Okay. But yeah, you think he might have been given "Hello." I sure as hell hope he was given "Hello," because if he picked it for himself, yeah, that's a problem. David Cook had his first moment with that song back in season 7. Like a big moment, like a moment that set him up for the next 5 weeks, which took him to Billie Jean, which is when he was like, okay, now I'm gonna win. And so Brandon got an instant minus 50% for picking that song. In my
He's already failing.
Pretty much. The song choice, it's the equivalent of picking Mad Roll and not delivering on it for me.
Joey Cook did it.
Joey Cook was an exception. And Joey Cook also didn't do it as well as Adam, but she did it differently enough that it was okay. Singing it straight up doesn't work. Performance was competent, but it was nothing special in my view. I loved Brandon's audition. Actually, I thought he sang the song "Unaware" better than Dennis did actually in his audition. I don't think Brandon has lived up to his audition. throughout the rest of the competition.
The thing is Brandon is. I was watching some of his YouTube videos. He's a really he's a talented singer.
Oh,
I just feel like
he has a ton of talent.
I just feel like these performances weren't a representation of what he's capable of, which is either because, like I said, like you hinted, I feel like he was handed the song and kind of forced to sing it, which is something I've heard in the past of contestants being forced into songs. And I feel like I feel like he was set up to fail a little bit, which is a shame because, like I said, he is a really, really talented singer.
Again, I thought he was probably in my definitely in my top 10 favorite auditions from the season for me.
I honestly would have wanted him in the top 14 because I just know that this wasn't a good representation of what he can do. I would give him a pass.
Based on this audition, I would have wanted him in the top 14 as well. So,
which is a shame, but this was it was wobbly in times. There were nerves, and I could tell there was some nerves. I just wrote down no way he chose this song because I feel like he is a fan of these shows. He's been on them. I feel like he knows how this game goes a little bit, or he has some meaning, and I don't understand him choosing this. I don't know, but any final thoughts on this performance?
Nope.
I don't know. I just feel like I said, they keep referencing this song. Like every episode has Lionel Richie singing "Hello," and this was just kind of keeping the trend. But hopefully, it's the end of the trend. We'll make note of this. If next week there's another "Hello" reference,
there will be.
We'll be sure to mention it. But unfortunately, he's cut. But oh wait, he does the duet first, which was with Louis Fonsi, "Despacito."
Never song choice that isn't going to work.
Good old-fashioned busing, which is just such a shame. Like, this is such a...
That's a bust.
This is a bust.
That's a song that you can't possibly not be bussed with.
I feel like he was set up to fail a little bit. And
totally.
Like I said, it's just such a shame because I see so much potential in him. And
I see a ton of potential. And I really hope he was set up to fail because if he picked these songs for himself, that's not a good sign.
Which is indicative of his results. He is cut. I probably would have sent him through just based off what I know he's capable of, but I understand him getting cut. Any final thoughts on Brandon?
Hopefully, I mean, he did X Factor the Idol. Go on, talk talent. Maybe you could do better on that.
That's what someone said. I think on Twitter, someone said, "America's Got Talent better be ready. He's going to be first in line." Which, I don't know if that's mean or funny, but moving on to our next contestant.
I meant it in a nice way to be completely clear.
Oh.
I meant it as in I hope you can learn from this experience and go on America's Got Talent and kill it. But okay.
I have a lot to say about this next contestant. It's Gabby Barrett. She's performing "My Church." Not my literal church, but the song "My Church." What'd you think?
Hate the song. Gabby's not my type of singer. But she's undeniably talented, and considering there are two country singers, Gabby and Layla, in this week, if only one of them was going to advance and one of them had to advance, definitely Gabby was the right choice. Yeah.
The thing that I was thinking about with Gabby is she has all the makings of what I usually love in a contestant. Like, of the contestants that I've watched, she crosses off all the boxes of what I usually kind of root for. And which just shocks me all the more so that I just really can't get into her. Because I'm she's someone I should, if you were to prepackage what the contestants I root for on these shows, this would be the kind of contestant. And I almost find myself
manufacture a contestant for you to it would be Gabby. And then for some reason
it just doesn't work. I don't understand why anyone in competing on a singing show would ever choose this song. I don't understand. Why would you ever if you're going to go country, which first of all, I don't agree on her wanting to do that and boxing her into the country genre. Why would you pick this one? Why don't you do a ballad? Why don't you do something that shows the beautiful parts of your voice? This is just all these songs. They were just so mismatched, honestly.
All of them until Cade, but yeah.
We'll be talking about Cade in a minute. I heard she did a pretty good job with what she could. I feel like she's a contestant who will do very well in the live rounds of the show. She's got experience. I think I don't understand her choices. Like, there's such better decisions that she could be making for herself. And I don't know if that's because she's come off the prepackaged machine of like what a good contestant should be, and she's kind of just following the rules of what like the producers say. But I want to see her do something crazy. I want to see her like do something unexpected. She needs to take a page out of Michael J. Woodard's
yes.
Like thought process and do something out of the box, because she's just predictable. She won this round against Layla, but I don't see it much further.
Go. Yeah. I think that she has potential to make it to top 4, I think. Or further even, if she picks the right song and does the right things.
Okay. She also has her duet. She gets the pimp spot for the
duet rounds, yeah.
For the duet rounds. She does I don't know the song. What song was it that she did? Anyway, I'm thinking I think it was Stay by Sugarland. Yeah, it was that. Probably. And it was pretty good. Jennifer Nettles is really, really good at this. She's a really good singer. I was watching with my mom and she kept saying, "Who's the guitarist and why is he always there?" Because Sugarland is like a duo.
Yeah.
And it's just kind of weird because we have like 2 guitarists. Mm-hmm. But it's good performance. Nothing. I don't really have that many notes. I mean, I think
have a song better for a solo performance, and I thought she was good. Yeah, I like the harmonies. Actually, I did.
Okay, I agree. So she's moving on. She is
top 14.
Do you agree?
Yes.
I would be on the fence on her, but I feel like in the end I would probably put her through. I feel like Layla is a little bit more like relatable. Like
I would agree. I would. That's tough.
Like Layla is like a young, like a very impressionable singer, and Gabby is like a very like refined, except a little bit still rough around the edges. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like Layla's a bit more younger, and Gabby's more like.
I get it. Yeah.
But I still would have honestly. I feel like Layla. I could have been swayed to put Layla in. I'm not sure, but anyway, we move on to our last contestant who gets the pimp spot for the performance round. Cade Foehner. I got his last name right?
I hope so.
Anyway, he's doing Watchtower by Jimi Hendrix. What'd you think?
Well, okay, so I loved it. I mean, I really, really like him a lot. And my prayer is that he doesn't get preachy on me. Because I found out this week that he goes to Liberty University online. He wants to be a pastor. And assuming he doesn't pull a Porsche and throw the LGBT community under a bus, I'm rooting for him.
I have in my notes, he's looking a lot like a winner.
Assuming he doesn't screw up like LaPortia did, I think he could win. They're pretty damn easily. Yeah.
I don't know. We talked about this a little bit in the pre-show, and for any viewers who are a fan of other reality singing shows, he reminds me so much of Jesse Kinch, who won the show. It's called Rising Star.
The worst singing show ever to exist.
Worst. It had Kesha.
Besides before.
It had Kesha.
That's why it was the worst.
Josh Groban's really good singer.
You're cutting out, but I'll just say that I can't stand Kesha as a singer. As a person, I'm like hearing more and more and more, especially with her latest stuff.
I love her latest song.
I like Praying a lot. Her old stuff I can't stand. The stuff that she released when she was on Rising Star was not sufficient enough for her to be on a judge on Rising Star.
Remember on Glee, they used to call her Key $! Ha. I just love
that. I like to call her $! Ha. That's fun. That's a great joke.
So, just my final thoughts on Cade's performance. He's given me those winner vibes. He checks off just about
all the boxes.
Every box.
Tons of personality, tons of stage presence, picking good songs for his voice. Yeah, his voice isn't perfect. It hasn't been perfect so far. But overall, as an overall artist package, he's my favorite.
He checks off most of the boxes except for one, which I think is pretty important, and that is post-show marketability. I do think he's like, in my mind, if you hypothetically, if you have Gabby and Cade at the end in the final two, one of them is more marketable than the other. And that's
Gabby.
just something that I feel like could influence some things.
I would agree with that. Let me say something. I loved Caleb on the show, but he wasn't marketable. It sucks because I really do like him. But and unfortunately, Cade, I think, will fall the same way.
Gina was marketable.
Gina was definitely marketable.
And she was robbed.
We will never, I mean, the more I've been thinking about it, I like them both a lot. That's how I'll end it. I'm not gonna go as far to say Gina was robbed. I was gonna say it was a coin flip. I thought both of them would have deserved to win that season.
Gina was one of those contestants that I was super invested. And I remember like the fact that she made it to the final two. And I was like, this is going to be the first time on any of these shows that my number one pick from like the auditions is going to win. And I was just like, so right there. And then they call Kayla. I was like, oh, womp womp.
Okay. But I like them. I've seen them both live, so I support both of them. So.
Anyway, we're getting a bit sidetracked. So we move on to Cade's duet with Bishop Briggs. Never Tear Us Apart. Like I said, another
winning performance.
He's a huge threat. I see like he could win, honestly.
I totally agree.
So go on.
I'm not going to give too much away, but the coin flip is going to decide who's going to get him for the draft is my guess.
Okay. So he's going through, and that completes our top 7, which is Catie, Cade, Michelle, Jonny, Dennis, Michael, Gabby. What do you think about the people who actually advanced?
Cade is in a different league from the rest, in my view. But I'd say my other two favorites are Michael J. Woodard and, well, this week I'd say Dennis is probably my third. Based on that duet alone, I think Dennis was amazing on duet.
Who were was that your top 3?
Yeah.
I'm going to say my top 3 from this week. Ooh. Michael. I'm just going to say Michael. No, it's Michael, Cade, and I mean, it's hard. I'm just going to go with those two, Michael and Cade. I mean,
okay.
I guess Gabby by default, but which is weird because I feel like I just kind of was kind of a little bit hard on her, but I feel like that's the top 3 in my opinion. But looking forward, if we're following the format of the American Idol 15, 2 contestants from this top 7 are going to be sent straight through to the top 10, and the others are going to battle it out for the remaining spots. So I want to ask.
Not necessarily 2 from this week, are they? Or
yeah,
2 from this week?
I think that's how it worked out last year. So I'm not sure. So I want to ask if you.
I think they could pick 4 total from any week, but if I could pick 2 from this week only.
A guy and a girl also.
That's how it worked last year. I don't think these rules are actually in place, but for hypothetical, I'll say they are Cade and Gabby.
Michael and Gabby. I mean, okay. Cade's so good, like he's going to advance anyway.
Oh,
like he doesn't need it.
If we're picking strategically, then I would do Michael and Catie actually. So I'd pick that way.
No, I feel like in the end, if they do follow that format and they do the same thing that we were saying, it's probably going to be Cade and Gabby, which is funny because what I remember is last season when they picked the top 4 from those top 14, the top 3 of those contestants were the top 3, and the other one went home the next week. It was Olivia Rocks, Dalton.
Still robbed.
Olivia? Oh, totally robbed.
Yeah, she was actually probably my favorite that season.
Oh, me too. I was rooting for Jenna, who was cut like top 24 week, and because she appeared on America's Got Talent. You wouldn't remember her. She was not that shown that much. I also, before we get to our closing statements, I just want to ask, what did you think of the venue? Any thoughts on the venue?
We already discussed it. The ceiling was too low, so the judges have to keep scaling it up.
That's totally what happened. What did you think about us not being able to vote for these contestants?
Same as last season. I don't like the trend, but I don't see it changing, unfortunately.
I really hate it. I understand why it happened because Katy Perry had a fully booked schedule. I think she's like in Mexico now. Like, but it's like, it's so sterile and everything's so like, I love a live show. I love the live shows because
I will say, like MJ, I got a kick out of hearing Kieran dim the lights again.
Oh, Kieran cannot even be a real person for all we know. He could just be like, he could be like Santa. It's like he's more feeling in your heart. But yeah, I did love that. Any final thoughts?
Nope. That's all my thoughts for this episodes.
I do have some news, which we already shared on Twitter, but I'm going to just share here for those who aren't aware. We are going to be having an extra podcast this week. It's going to be on Thursday at 8 p.m. We are going to be graced with the presence of a previous American Idol contestant. It's going to be Amelia Eisenhower. It's going to be joining us. We're going to be talking about her music, her run on American Idol. We're going to be talking about a little bit about the contestants for this season and the show. This is something that I'm super, super, super excited about. I have been such a fan of hers post-show. She is a really cool person, and she's just so interesting to talk to. I'm really excited to have her on. I can't stress enough how excited I am for this upcoming show.
I'm excited too. And I will be there as well Thursday at 8 p.m. And hopefully you will all be able to join us as well. And of course, if you want to, you can always suggest questions for us to ask her. So use the hashtag.
Okay. So before we go, I just want to say my name is Adam Samuel. My Twitter handle is Adam Soapbox. I run my 2 websites. I run adamsoapbox.blog, where I share my personal stories and narratives or whatever they're called. I actually have a new one coming out in the next week or 2, which I've put so much effort into. It's a short story, but I'll leave the judgment up to you. Also, I have my website where I talk about TV shows. It's adamstvblog.wordpress.com. That's pretty much all my stuff. What about you, Eric?
Eric _Ascher on Twitter. On YouTube, you can find me as well, Eric Ascher. And my website is thoughts.ericascher.com. And I'll be posting my notes from this episode below, which notes on the top 7 from this episode. But I'll put them on our website so you can look at them. And be sure to subscribe to Adam's channel, get notified when the next episode's coming. And hopefully we will see you all on Thursday.
Thank you guys, everyone who's joined us for this episode. There's a lot to get through. I think we managed to touch it all. I got all my thoughts out. I'm very proud. But thank you so much, guys. We'll see you. We hope you'll come and join us on Thursday. I'm really excited about it. But until then, peace out, guys. Bye.
See you later.